And welcome to the 12th episode of The Roundtable, where we talk about everything crypto related, DeFi related. My lamp is in the frame here. I actually want to get that out the way because just don't like how that look right there. So the usual cast is here, guys. Gonna bring everyone up one by one. Thank you all for being here. If you guys have any questions or anything, drop it in the chat. We will most likely try to respond to people. And we're going to try to prioritize the super chats as we usually do. So our first person that's going to be joining us is going to be Generation Crypto. What's up, my boy?
How's it going?
It is going very well. How are you?
Good. Doing well.
Awesome. We have over here Crypto Atlas.
1,02,889. 1,000,002. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Hey, what's up, guys?
Forms? Working your forms over there?
Yeah, you know.
Let's see those forms. Let's check them out.
Yeah. See?
Hey,
look at this.
Oh, you got me beat, bro.
Yeah, and my cat too.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, all the ladies. That's what I meant. You know.
Everyone out here checking you out, my boy. Those arms are juicy. We got the man that has no eyes, the man that wears a wig, the man that just has maybe 2 or 3 different names at this point. We have over here, bam, Mr. Tim.
What's up, everyone?
How's it going, man? How's life? How's your day?
Oh, it's going. It's a little windy outside. How's it going there?
Yeah, we love wind, bro. I hate the heat. I wish it was more windy over here. So humid. I hate it. Now, last but not least, I called him the Brooklyn Beast. Let's give it up for the homie, Mr. Bergman. Adam.
What up, y'all? What up,
man, bro?
Glad to see you guys.
My boy, it's been a minute. Give us some details, man, some updates. What's going on? How's life?
Man, life is good, man. I'm just trying not to commit suicide with all of this fucking market. What's happening right now, man? It's absolutely terrible. I know you're hurting. I know everyone's hurting. It's just...
I'm just diamond fisting over here. I'm not hurting.
Yes. Speaking of that, I actually watched your video, Adam. Adam did a very good video in regards to Russia, Ukraine, what's going on in the world. There's a lot of stuff that's happening outside of the crypto market. People who are just fixated on crypto will not look outside and see what's going on that's going to affect all markets, not just crypto, stocks, real estate. Everything is kind of taking a little bit of a hit. We'll talk about that and more in the episode, guys. But if you have not, support myself, support all the content creators down here. All the channel links are down below. Like the stream. Like I said, guys, any questions, anything you want answered, you know what to do. So I don't have designated topics. We're just going to spit off the top of our head. But I kind of want to address some safe moon stuff as we usually do. And then we'll get into some more DeFi questions, overall crypto questions a little later on. So let's talk a little bit about some safe moon stuff. Not really going into FUD territory, but I do want to enter with a lawsuit. Now, this is not a big deal, but people are making it a big deal. People are making it a big deal because they see SafeMoon getting sued. This sucks. What's going on? It's actually not a big deal. I actually want to go to Generation. He did a great video on this. I watched the entire video, a deep dive video in regards to what it means. If you guys want more info, check out that video on his channel. But Generation, a little information about the lawsuit and what do you think?
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out on that. It's frivolous at the end of the day. I read the entire 60-page document. Essentially, the gist of the document is basically, hey, there was influencers who said this was a good project and you should buy it. And because the price isn't up 1,000%, I feel cheated and therefore I want to sue you for money. That's basically the entire gist of the lawsuit. And so, I mean, at that point, are we going to sue Elon Musk because he talked about Dogecoin on, Saturday Night Live and it tanked immediately after? Or are we going to talk about every influencer who's talked about any product ever since the dawn of, markets? It's a silly thing to sue someone over. It's not going to hold up in court most likely, unless they have evidence that just none of us know about and they've got some sort of bombshell that none of us are aware of that's illegal. Then this is going to be frivolous. It's going to be thrown out. I know a lot of people made a big deal of it because it was filed, but they don't dictate merit when they're filing. They just dictate, do you have grounds to even file a suit, which is really low bar to meet. Once you've met that bar, then they'll go to a pretrial, and then they'll based on its merits, if it was even served, based on its merits, if it's even worth going before a jury, if the jury trial is what they're seeking or whatever. Because there's not a lot of merit for them to go off of, unless they have other forms of evidence that we just aren't aware of that weren't in the document. The judge is going to look at this and say, okay, so some influencers talked about this, and it's a speculative token that you have to do, fiat to this to even get to the token, correct? So why are we here? They didn't tell you that you'd buy it and it was going to hit a specific price. They just said, They're like the token, right? So they go, well, they sold out on us. Okay, well, who sold when, where? What's their wallet? When did they sell? At what point did they sell it? And when did they say that that was what they were planning to do? I mean, unless they have the evidence for all of that stuff, it's just going to go nowhere. It's frivolous.
Yeah, literally. I could say the same thing about Cardano, Ethereum. They're not up 1,000%, but they're in my portfolio. I kind of want to spin the question a little different, Atlas. So, Atlas, let's say if you were someone that wanted to do the suing, you bought a token, it's not up 1,000%. Which token are you suing?
Ooh, it's not up 1,000%. Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Wow. So if you
You want
see
to talk
Dogecoin,
about
you know
like
the
influencer aspects? Look at Elon Musk, right? Look at how much pull that he's had with Bitcoin or Dogecoin or any of these other projects where he's spoken out vocally about these things. The community size for Dogecoin is quite massive. Think about how many TikTokers, everything else. SafeMoon is one of a pool of cryptocurrencies that have built a large following for sure. But when you're talking about people that have some sort of a rippling effect on the market by the things that they say, I don't think it gets any bigger than based on what the words of Elon Musk says. And so it's not up a ton of money. Well, then if you're going to choose anyone, if I had to choose, I'd go with that one.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a very good point. I mean, when it comes to the whole Dogecoin hype, everyone's talking about it. Every influencer, like I say, Elon Musk. So that is a pretty good one to pick right there. Now, Adam, talk to me about, is this even important? Is this something that's going to bite us in the back in the future? We see the lawsuit of XRP and what they're going through. It's not the same thing, but it is a lawsuit. And just based off of it, being potentially going to court, people are going to FUD. Is this a big deal? Can this develop into something further? And should we be worried?
What Generation Crypto said that we don't really know what information they have. This could actually be a very sorry. Let me just turn my phone off. Tim, I think you need to put yourself on mute, buddy.
What do you hear? You hear something?
Got some
Yeah, you
static in
got
the
some
back.
fuzz in the background there, buddy.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you. So the lawsuit could be seen in different ways. Number one, I wouldn't mind the discovery. I wouldn't mind to see some evidence or whatever they get, because this is going to be a lot of transparency. I think it's going to be a ton of transparency that we want, and unfortunately, that could be a way to get it. I'd rather not get it like this, but I wouldn't be angry about it. I'd rather there be no lawsuit, and I think it's just ambulance chasing, pretty much. But we got to see what they have. We got to see their disclosures. We got to see what information they have. But it is just, anytime you have class action lawsuit, that's ambulance chasing. And at the end of the day, the only people that are going to win are going to be the attorneys with their attorney fees, and they're piggybacking off of these famous superstars to try to make more money.
Yeah, very good point. Very, very good detail there. Tim, so out of everyone who has ever talked in Shill SafeMoon, if you could pick 3 people that you could sue because they promoted it, they were marketing it, 3 people, you are the person that's suing now. Give me 3 people that you're going to try to go after.
I'm going to go after you. I'm going to go after Generation. I'm going to go after Crypto Atlas. You guys are screwed. I'm taking all your stuff. Sorry. I watched all you guys before I started my own channel, so I mean, I didn't actually buy it because of you, but whatever. You talked about it, you gave it hype, and now I'm coming at you. I believe this is probably one of the stupidest lawsuits I think I've ever seen. And the reason why is they're basically claiming that it was this giant pump and dump. But what happens if next week or 2 weeks from now it goes far surpasses the all-time high? What's the lawsuit then? Just because those people sold off their tokens and then they lost out on money, but had they had held onto it, and now they would have even more money. So the whole idea behind it is just absolutely ridiculous that anyone would even find any merit in this lawsuit. It's so stupid. So when I was reading it, I'm like, what happens if the price flies up to like 10 cents next week? I mean, not that it'll happen, but I mean, like, legitimately, what would the lawsuit even claim at that point? So I just think it's meritless.
That is an argument that I haven't heard raised, but very, very good point. I think Atlas want to add something to that. You can jump in.
Generation, I had a question for you. So I know that you dived really deep into this. I covered it broadly. From my understanding, what people have been saying online in that lawsuit, it mentioned different people associated with the SafeMoon team, but it did not actually address Thomas. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, so I don't know how familiar the general audience is with legal stuff, but in the beginning, it will tell you who the plaintiffs are. The plaintiffs are the people that are complaining. They're the people who are representing the group in this lawsuit because it's class action. So they're representing the class, and then it would encompass anybody who is a token holder. Is basically who they're saying the entire class is. Then after that, it tells you who specifically they are suing because you have to have someone you're suing. You can't just say people, right? You got to be very specific. So they named a laundry list of all the different LLCs that SafeMoon has. It was like the SafeMoon Media Company. It was the SafeMoon, just a SafeMoon LLC. Then it was SafeMoon this, SafeMoon that, whatever. So they had a laundry list of all the individual companies they were trying to sue associated with SafeMoon, and then they listed specific individuals. Most of them were influencers, like Ben Phillips and these others that had specifically promoted the token at some point on Twitter, and later on it documents their specific tweets that they said, which most of them were just like, I like SafeMoon, or I bought SafeMoon. Do you have SafeMoon or something? It was like silly. And then after that, it named specific individuals. So it named Ryan the Fudhound, it named John Caroni, and it also named Hank and a couple of other people that were not on the team now, that are not on the team now, but were on the team previously when the token initially started. So it's weird to me specifically that Ryan was listed, even though he didn't join the team till July, when allegedly they were saying all this stuff was happening in the beginning, because the big pump for it happened in April, right? That was when the big pump happened for SafeMoon. So they're putting him on there, even though he wasn't on the team in July, and they note as such in the document. But then Thomas, who was on the team well until, nearly the end of the year, was not listed anywhere and not talked about at all. So I did find that kind of interesting, to say the least. I don't know if it's because maybe he's an informant involved. I'm not trying to speculate, but that's what some people have been saying, that could be a reason why he wouldn't be listed. Or maybe that's where some of the information came from that started the whole thing, and that's why they wouldn't sue him. I don't know. None of us know. This is just pure speculation on that part. But I do find it extremely interesting that him being an integral part of the token and the one that brought the entire team together, essentially, he's the one who brought on John and brought on a lot of these other people. Why was he not listed? So I have that same question.
Last note that I have is that I saw Joe post on Twitter. I don't have it directly in front of me, but he said that to be able to file a case like this, I think all you really need is $427 or something like that. It was very little money.
Yeah, again, this is just the filing, right? Obviously, they probably had to pay legal fees behind the scenes, so it was probably more than that because they had to pay for a lawyer to draft the documents. They probably had consulting fees of sitting down with the lawyer, getting that entire document put together. So there was probably more than that on the back end. That's obviously not public information of what they were paying. And from what I saw, the firm they're dealing with, this isn't some small dude who owns his own little thing out of his house. It's a pretty large firm, so I would imagine their fees are probably pretty high as well. So it probably costed quite a bit more money to get that started.
Why is this popping up? Sorry, so I actually
that's not a good question. When the host is asking, why did this pop up?
That's what she said.
Oh,
so that's a little segue because we actually got a super chat. You can actually click this and it shows up. So big super chat from Anonymous. Anon token AT's on fire. Google it. So I actually just pulled up the token because I thought it would be really cool for us to just kind of do a blanket look at it to kind of see what we thought. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate you supporting. This is the Crypto Roundtable where we do talk about everything crypto related. Let's just all take a look at whatever this is and we can kind of dissect this together. None of us has most likely never seen this token. I don't know what this is. Someone dropped a super chat and they called this token. So I kind of want to just...
Do you mind if I touch on something really quick before you move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just clarification. So
Sure.
Some people are saying that Thomas was listed in the document. Yes, he's listed in the document, but what I'm specifically referencing is he's not listed as a defendant. So that's the interesting part. They're listing everybody else that's involved, but they're not listing him specifically as a defendant. That's what we're referring to.
Okay, fair enough. Good point. Now, obviously, none of us know this token. We're just going to do a quick little look into the website, see what's going on here. Just off a first glance, obviously, we're not going to do any deep diving into this, but just off a first glance, it's not looking great when it comes to the website design. Adam, if you went on this website and you saw this token with this kind of setup here, obviously, you don't know the white paper. This is just your first introduction. What are you going to think?
Bro, why did I know? Why did I know? Like, we went through this deja vu, huh?
Bro,
Go
check out
up.
his website.
Yeah, this is trash.
Literally, the goal of Anonymous is simple: uh, re- revolutionize decentralization and create an anti-government. Yeah, this is like I don't even. They have a curse word here. F the system. So
Bro, I'm scared to even be on this website.
let me click off of this. So, generation, if you saw that website, what would you think?
I mean, I've done web development. That was terrible website. Not a lot of information. Obviously, I mean, we haven't done enough research to make a definitive decision.
Yeah.
But right off the rip, I'm going to say that I'm not going to put my money in it. I'll just say that.
Yeah, so sorry Anonymous, I do appreciate the super chat, but just off a first glance, we don't know the project, we don't know anything, we could be completely wrong. Maybe it's a moonshot. First glance is not looking great, so most likely we'll not check it out. Now, I kind of want to segue piggybacking off of our previous topic and talking about content creators as a whole because they did mention specific people who shill SafeMoon to their audience, thus influencing them to buy in. Now, I want every single one of you point when you're a content creator and you're covering tokens, how much liability is on you? For example, let's say if the token goes down, rug pull, scam, whatever happens, you're covering it, you're introducing it to people. Is there any responsibility on you as a content creator? Or is it just, hey, I'm an investor too, it is what it is? Let's go to Tim first. What do you think?
Are you basically asking me if we're responsible if a project rugs? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, based off of the lawsuit, you're trying to sue people for advertising SafeMoon, just off of the merit of tweets. I bought SafeMoon, have you? Does that or even YouTube videos, does that warrant any responsibility on the person if the tokens fail?
Personally, I don't think so. Because in my video, and I think with all of you guys' video, we're just saying, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment. Look into it yourself. We're just giving you our advice and what we see. I know all of us are invested in it. It's something that we all believe in. And the reason why I talk about it is because I believe in the project and I think it's super cool and I see it going places in it and they're innovating in spaces and they're changing things that I believe in. Does that mean it's foolproof? With all projects and everything that you invest in, it's an investment. You're taking a chance. Yes, I believe that, there is always risk in everything. But with this particular company and what they're doing, I think it's a good risk to take because I feel like what they're doing is showing you the way things should work in DeFi. Should I be held responsible if something happens to the company? I don't think so because I would probably be losing just as much as everybody else that would be investing into it. I just want my job as a content creator, just as all of us are, is to inform people who don't have the time to do the research and go through all the articles and try to put everything together. We're not always 100% correct. I often tell people when I'm wrong. I said, look, I got this wrong, this was my guess, this isn't right. And I'm pretty sure we all do that. Like if we haven't figured something out correctly or said something incorrectly, we would come back and we would then change it. We're not here to pump out, false hope and all this other stuff, but we want people to know what's going on behind the scenes from what we can find out. And we try to be as honest and truthful as possible just to make sure that the people that are investing in it realize what they're investing in and how cool it could be in the future. Just like any project out there, people need to know the bigger picture. You got to let them know because if not, then when an inexperienced investor, when they don't know what they're investing in, will get scared at any second the price goes down, right? So like I remember when I first started investing in stocks or when I first started investing in crypto, anytime the market would go red for like 30 seconds, I would be selling my bag. I was like, oh God, let me get out of this. It's going to tank. And the second that I would sell, it would just shoot right back up, So I wasn't really in it and I really didn't study the project. So I don't really think we should be held accountable because we're not saying go into your bank account, take out money, purchase this product. We're saying this is what we like about this project. This is what we know about this project. This is how we could see it coming together. And in the end, if all of this comes together and all this works out, then in the end, it's going to make everybody very happy with the end result. So I don't believe that we should be held responsible. What do you think? Do you think you should be held responsible if something bad would happen?
Yeah, me personally, no. Pretty much the same sentiment you just said. We are investors ourselves, and we are all investing because we believe in the roadmap, the project, and what's going to come in the future. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But we're all in the very same boat. If you lose money, I lose money. We all lose money. Now, going over to Atlas. Atlas, you are very diverse when it comes to your portfolio. We can talk about, SafeMoon, other tokens. We can talk about Evergrow. You have quite a big portfolio, a variety of different tokens. You're covering those tokens on your channel. You're tweeting about them. You might have maybe a Facebook group. I have no idea. What happens to you if one of these tokens either fail, doesn't work out, people lose money? Do you have any responsibility to that? Or are you just, like I said, someone who just invests like everyone else?
Me personally, I don't see myself as being one that should be credited to the failure of a project when there's so many other outside factors that people need to really consider. So I think that what we need to work on moving forward in this industry space is that we do implement certain regulations that we have implemented in other sectors. And so what I mean by that is that if a project goes and they sponsor a YouTuber, for example, or another social influencer to promote that specific cryptocurrency, I think we should be at the point already now where you have regulation that they have to publicly disclose that that's an ad. As it is right now, it's a gray zone, and people are not actually being mandated by that. Myself personally, and other people that I know personally, they do make a public disclosure when it's a paid advertisement, when you do get endorsement from these projects. And guys, I get reached out to all the time to try and get sponsors to do this project or that project. If you go look at my page, you go look at the projects that I cover, you'll see the amount of ones I've actually accepted is extremely small. Because in the end, I know that my credibility is something that's going to be coming into play here. I want to look at a project and say, is this something that if I got involved in, that I would be okay with talking about this with my brother, with my best friend, with my roommate, more of a personalized level. I look at it from that point of view. So when you have other individuals, other influencers who are very direct in their statements, they're saying, go buy this thing, or they make misleading claims. It's going to go to blank next month. Guys, this thing is getting ready to take off. It is going to go to 10 cents by the end of the year or whatever, right? When people make direct claims and they try and provide it as if it's fact, that is very misleading. Everything in the market is very fragile, and it's really dictated on a moment-to-moment basis. You can look at a lot of indicating signs to see where you're more likely to go, and that's where technical analysis comes into play. But the reality is, you could have a great audit, a great-looking project, huge community. It's been around for years, so much credibility there. It's already in all these different exchanges and countries, and then guess what? Somebody found some malicious code that they could insert somewhere, and it gets rug pulled, or it has a hack, or something else happens to it. We see it happen all the time. There are thousands of projects that are out there. I think it's up to us as influencers to make sure that we stay as transparent as we can with our community. I think that the regulators need to implement specific things to help make sure and ensure that transparency with the communities. And at the end of the day, we make it clear to our audience that this is our opinion. This is the research that we've found. We're sharing it with you guys, unless they're a financial advisor, right? But just here's what I found. Make use of it for yourself. These are the decisions that I made with it, but hopefully that saved you some time. Instead of you having to go and read, you're able to listen to the video. Or instead of going and trying to search for 2 hours to find all this material, you got one video that has everything convenient.
Man, starting off with Tim and Atlas, I don't know how anyone else can add on to that. But it's going to kind of spin the question a little bit for Adam over here. So when it comes to being a content creator, since we're still on the topic of the lawsuit and they're trying to peg it to these content creators, shill SafeMoon, therefore they're responsible for it. When it comes to someone who's a content creator taking paid promotions, if, for example, the token doesn't work out, is there any fault on you? And how should a content creator do a paid promotion correctly?
First of all, I wanted to say I'm Jewish, so I have all the best attorneys. That's all I wanted to say. That's the first disclaimer that I wanted to say.
Love it.
So, look, I think if you're making a paid promotion, you should mention that it's a paid promotion. I know sometimes, It doesn't always, I'm sure people miss that, but you should mention that it's paid promotion. You should give people all the best information you possibly can. I think it's very similar to what Atlas just said. Most people, um, they're not going to do the research. They're not going to do the legwork. Maybe they don't know how to do the legwork. And we were in the same position that a lot of people are. Like in the beginning, you didn't know. Like you don't know. Bro, I didn't learn DeFi until I started my channel. I didn't even know what it was. I remember my first videos. I'm like, what is DeFi? Like, I look back on what I was saying. So you're learning as you go along. And just be honest to people. It doesn't matter what you say. It's at the end of the day, everyone's a grown adult. You know, I should be suing myself because I shilled myself so many projects that I lost money on. You know what I mean? Like, you make the best decision that you possibly can. It's like we all lose money or we all make money. It's at the end of the day, you're a grown man or woman. Stand on your own 2 feet and stop being a bitch.
Hey, facts. I mean, hey guys, say it all the time. If you make money, that's on you. If you lose money, that is on you. Finishing off a generation on the very same topic. So when it comes to being a content creator, which we all are, we're talking about other tokens, SafeMoon, MetaBUSD, all these other variety of coins. And people, although we don't want them to invest just based off of us, we always say it, do your own research. We know people are not going to do the research. They're going to take our opinion for what it is and just FOMO in. They're going to go on MetaMask, add the token, just buy. No research. When it comes to that whole process of someone watching your video and buying the token, no research. For one, do you have any responsibility? And what is the responsibility of us as content creators introducing projects to people?
These are good questions. I actually released a statement on my channel and on my Twitter, kind of going over how I run things, so people are very transparent as to when I'm paid to do something, when I'm not paid to do something, and how I operate my entire channel. So I've made it extremely clear to people with disclaimers in each individual video, as well as on every description of every video that I release, as well as pin on all my socials of exactly how I handle my content. When it comes to what is our responsibility as content creators, I think that it depends on what you're doing as a content creator, right? Like if I'm going to people and being like, you need to buy this token, you're going to be a millionaire, it's going to hit it at this day and this month, and you need to buy it. I guarantee you and I promise you it's going to be at this price at this time. I think that, yeah, there should be some responsibility on that person if they're just blatantly lying to people, you know, or they're trying to get people in so that they can dump a bag on them. That's immoral and it's wrong. And that's, I think, unethical. And I think that people should be held to stuff like that. I'm specifically for my channel, I'm very careful about what I say. And what I say is just educational information only. I say, this is how this works. This is what this does. This is how you can get a hold of it. This is how you can do things with it. I never once ever in any of my videos tell people, buy this project, sell this project, do this with your money. This is information. Do what you want with that information. So if people take that information and then come to the assumption that that means they should buy that project, they did that themselves. I never told them to do so. So they can't come to me and say, well, you covered that project. I'm like, yeah, but did I tell you to buy that project? Did I tell you to sell that project at a loss? Did I tell you to do any of those things? No. Okay, then what responsibility do I have that you decided to take your money and put it into something strictly because I covered some educational information on it? And then why am I taking the blame because you didn't do enough information searching, or you didn't mitigate enough risk, or you put more money than you could have afforded to lose? So that's on the individual person. And I think that in a lot of ways, we have a culture and a society where we never want to put the blame on our own shoulders. It sucks to do it, right? Because you don't want to be the person responsible for your failures. But at the end of the day, you're the person who's responsible for the decisions you make, whether that's in crypto and finance or your own life. If you're overweight, it's your responsibility to stay healthy, right? It's your responsibility to eat the right foods, go to the gym, take care of your health, and do that stuff. You can't blame the commercial that tried to advertise a hamburger and say, well, they made me fat because they advertised the hamburger. So now I have to drive to Carl's Jr. and now I have to buy it because I saw an ad about it. Like, it's just not how it works, right? So I view it kind of that same way. It's like blaming McDonald's because they ran ads for burgers during the Super Bowl and now you're fat or something. It's just, it's uncorrelated.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, touching on that, I think it's specifically American culture. I love America, don't get me wrong, huge patriot, but it's American culture that we sue for everything. Sometimes I'll tell my people, like actually in Russia, how they're like, Adam, it true? You coffee spill? Sue? I'm like, bro, yeah. I was like, people are suing for coffee, and they're like, and you know, and in Russian they're like, Que coisa del Bayob, you know, like what a freaking dumbass would spill his coffee on himself and sue McDonald's. Like obviously the coffee is hot. He's like, we don't need in Russia to have a like caution, it's hot. You know, it's just stupidity some things. Like everything's a suing. You sue for everything. Everything is a suing, you know, like it's absolutely crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, the suing culture in America.
Yeah, this is something that I'm actually not too familiar with in my country. We do have lawsuits, but it's very rare. You don't see people suing for anything. I do agree this is more so a North American thing. Not trying to call anyone out, but when it comes to other parts of the world, for example, where I live, you don't hear much about lawsuits. It's usually a very serious thing. Someone gets hit by a car, or something happens when it comes to someone walked in a building, they slipped, there's no wet floor sign, so those kind of things, right? Now, I do want to segue into Mandela, and global tokenomics. Now, this is a really cool concept. We were leading up to the release of the SafeMoon token being tradable on Mandela. Didn't happen, pulled it off. Whether it's an issue of too much volume from the SafeMoon traffic, we have no idea. But I want to go to Atlas first. Talk to me about global tokenomics and what does that mean for the entirety of all reflection tokens if SafeMoon can pull that off?
Global tokenomics is the evolutionary step forward with what SafeMoon is trying to do, but once it's actually been implemented, this is going to create an opportunity for every other cryptocurrency project out there that is using a cryptonomics, tokenomics kind of function. So up until this point, what we've seen is everything happens natively. What that means is that the reflectionary rewards, if you were on SafeMoon wallet, you're not going to be receiving those extra reflectionary rewards if there was actual trades taking place on Bitmart. So we have seen SafeMoon version 2's release. We've seen SafeMoon version 2's conversion or adoption onto various exchanges. But what's going to happen with Mandala is that first progressive step where they've been trying to troubleshoot this issue. That way, then it's universal. If you're a holder elsewhere, you want to make sure that you're gaining the most out of the system. Otherwise, why really participate in the system if it's kind of fractionalized everywhere? You're saying, well, there's more volume over on this exchange. So then you're contemplating, do I just go ahead and move all my funds over there? And then it kind of pulls away from the value that's taking place elsewhere, whether it be the SafeMoon wallet or something that's taking place natively with Bitmart, and they're going through their own promotional type setting. The progression forward with this is that Mandala uses Binance's cloud, and the liquidity behind that could create an ample opportunity where after they figure this out for Mandala, it might just be like this, and the decision when they're ready to go for Binance itself. That's the hope, at least. And then progressively after that, they have a baseline model, and hopefully they wouldn't really need to adjust too much based on what Coinbase has for their system, or Kraken or KuCoin or Gemini. But the idea is that one, it can be done. Two, we're showing you it live and you can see it for yourself. And then the next question is, who wants to be a part of the system next? Because it's not just SafeMoon. You got Hoj Finance. There's a lot of crypto projects out there that are using this kind of model. And moving forward, think about how many dollars are in that sector right now, just waiting for the ample opportunity to get more easy accessibility and the worldwide adoption. And the centralized exchanges are going to have that customer acquisition opportunity. And so this is not just great for SafeMoon. This is great for all of crypto. This is one of those points in time where if they get it done, they prove that it works, it is the next step forward in the evolution of crypto.
That is a very powerful start to that question. Definitely do agree with you. Gonna hop over to let's go with Generation on this one, talking a little bit about global tokenomics. But I want you to kind of dive a little deeper. So we know global tokenomics, if it is pulled off, this can apply to almost any other reflection token if SafeMoon can prove the concept that it can work. What kind of doors does this open? Because we know there's a bunch of reflection tokens on the market. They're on the rise. Whether they have longevity or not, I feel like the global tokenomics is going to prove that. What does this mean for the entirety of all reflections tokens? And is it going to help them as well get these bigger listings?
If we're able to pull off global tokenomics and it not only works on Mandala, but is able to work on several exchanges because of the path that SafeMoon is paving, this leads to a massive opportunity for mass adoption for all reflective tokens, because a lot of reflective tokens have the same problem as SafeMoon. They can't get listed on major exchanges because they can't support these reflections. So being able to implement global tokenomics for not only SafeMoon, but being able to incorporate it for all their projects means all of these other exchanges that were basically off limits for these projects are now completely wide open for them to be able to be utilized. So I think that you pave a massive path for a lot of these reflection tokens that are mostly small market cap tokens, because of the fact that they can't be on exchanges with low volume, to be able to have that open door opportunity to larger amounts of volume on these exchanges. So I think it's going to be a massive opportunity for all projects that are involved with any form of reflections.
Very good, very good. Going over to Adam, so I kind of want to change the question a little bit. So we actually had some proper numbers come out. We got the user base of Mandela, the actual exchange. Right now, I think they have recorded 27,000 users. And we know that $4 billion in volume is not daily, it is accumulative, right? So now that we kind of understand they don't have $4 billion in 24-hour volume, if we were to kind of, separate the amount of months as maybe 1 to 4 million in volume per day, obviously we're not going to get the reflections that we think. The volume isn't there yet. But do you think that once they get listed, are we going to have this influx of the SafeMoon army going on to Mandela, buying a bunch of tokens? Or do you think that user base is going to increase, bringing on a lot more natural users? What kind of effect do you think is going to have now that we see the proper numbers of what the Mandela Exchange has when it comes to users and their volume on a daily basis?
The only thing that I could see is people rushing to buy because they don't want to go through the whole DeFi process. So they might just buy in Mandala, pay the 2% transfer fee, and then send it to like a SafeMoon wallet. I could see that. The volume of Mandala is just not there. As you said, a couple of million a day is not really a big deal, and that's between everything. It's a good start. The global tokenomics, they need a small start like this to see if it's going to work. I'm just curious how it's going to work. Like, how are they going to separate the tokenomics for people on Mandala, because that's on their internal ledger, and then the global tokenomics, I'm assuming that's only going to be for DeFi. It's not going to be for other exchanges. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work. But to answer your question, no, I don't think there's going to be some massive influx to Mandala. I don't think there's going to be some massive volume that goes up. In order for that to happen, you would need a certain type of exchange, like a Binance. And Mandala is just not going to move the needle. You said how much volume? A million a day?
Between 1 to 4 million recorded. So that 4 billion that we're looking at, I think it is now at about 5 billion. That is accumulative. That is not daily.
That's the total they've ever done.
Total ever.
Yeah, I mean, there's tiny ass exchange. They're not gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing. I mean, we have 2-3 million volume in SafeMoon right now, and all we're doing is moving down. We need at least to add a 0 on the volume, at least. So Mandala, if everybody on Mandala is trading SafeMoon, it still wouldn't move the needle. Unfortunately, not to be a dick, but unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. Going over to last but not least, Tim. Now, I'm not sure if you were around when SafeMoon got listed on ZB Exchange. It was an exchange in Asia, and this exchange was outside of the top 100. The second it got listed, or SafeMoon listed, that exchange listed SafeMoon, they went from the top, I think, 110 to top 30 overnight, just off of the SafeMoon listing. Obviously, the FOMO, the hype. Do you think SafeMoon still has that same star power, that same hype? Do we have the ability to move a token like an exchange like Mandela from, I think, is rank 113 to being the top 30, the top 20? Does SafeMoon still have that hype? And do you think there's going to be some big catalyst when it comes to the listing? And what is your thought overall when it comes to global tokenomics?
Well, that's a very loaded question. That's like a bunch of nachos with everything on top of it. All right, let's take part A of the question, because it just wasn't one. It was like 50 questions in one. So when it comes to the exchange, is it going to launch it into the atmosphere and make it the number one exchange? Do we still have the hype to pull it off? I think we could bring it up. I definitely think we can improve Mandala's number. I think we can definitely bring it up. But like what Adam says, and Adam, by the way, if you are a dick, you're the nicest looking dick I've ever seen in my life. That didn't come out right. Anyway, he said, I don't mean to be a dick. So I was like, anyway, getting back to the exchange. I think it could definitely
please keep talking about it for another,
I don't think I've ever heard another man say that, and it came off.
No, but
taken
you
as
know
a
what?
compliment. Adam, was that a compliment?
Man, I'm honored to know Tim. That's a compliment. My life life became complete when Tim knows who I am.
Adam, I love you, man.
Love you too.
Anyway, but I do think the Safe Moon Army has a community that could rise up Mandala a little bit, right? And plus the ease of buying it. Guys, don't look too far into the dick comment. I wasn't. It was a funny. All right. Sometimes I say things.
No, that was great. That was great.
So yeah, I think Safe Moon definitely has the hype to bring it up. And one of the cool things about it all, and I think which will excite people, is that you can actually get global tokenomics on an exchange, right? Because that isn't really possible right now on a centralized exchange. They're not really doing global tokenomics. So not only is it exciting for Mandala, because the people that are holding on Mandala get the tokenomics from people that are holding on the DEX, right? So it works both ways. It's going to excite people to get onto it because it's easier to buy. As of right now, it's not working, right? They tried it out. They had some issues. They had to stop it. But and I think people get pissed off when stuff doesn't come through really quick, right? But what they're doing right now is they're innovating stuff and they're changing the way things work. There isn't another token that does this. And when you're trying to do something like this, it's stuff that hasn't been done before, you're going to run into problems because you couldn't just take the code from somewhere. You couldn't just take the idea from someone else and just paste it. You had to figure it out on your own. And because no one's ever done it before, you're going to run into problems that no one's ever seen before because it hasn't been accomplished. I think once they iron everything out and this becomes more popular, I do think that a lot of people are going to go to a centralized exchange like Mandala around these other countries just to buy it because it's so easy, and to live in the world of reflections where everyone is getting treated to the volumes of everywhere. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to connect all centralized exchanges volume, or not volume, but tokenomics across all platforms, because if it does that, that's going to just be crazy with the amount of reflections we will be able to gain and the volume together. And so making that 1 billion that in volume that everyone was praying about, if we're on like 10 or 15 exchanges that can all implement something like this, and they can all collectively use their volume together, I think it's really going to make it easy to hit that 1 billion volume per day if you can combine 10 or 15 different exchanges, because it's all universal. So I think it will bring it up. I definitely do, and I think once they get that technology and they smooth it out, it's going to bring up a lot of other projects on the things like this. And I don't know if it's patented technology. I do think they said it was Mandala's. Did you guys hear that as well? I'm not sure if it was just me that heard it was just Mandala's technology that was doing the tokenomics, the global tokenomics for this.
Tim, question. So I'm sorry. So you said that's going to answer my question. So the people in Mandala is going to get part of the global tokenomics. So it's not like they're going to take out the Mandalas. They're just going to average them into the entire thing?
Correct.
So that means that if it works, that means that they're going to average in all the token holders from the central exchanges if they choose to do something like this.
Right. Yeah, so I think that's what makes it such a big idea, because if you're buying it on the centralized exchange or the decentralized exchange, or no matter where you're going with it, I mean, and where you're holding it. So if you're holding it in your wallet or you're holding it on the centralized exchange, it doesn't matter. You're still gaining just as much as anyone anywhere else. And I think that's what everyone always wanted, and when you do that, you're combining the volumes of the SafeMoon centralized or decentralized exchange right now and the volume of the Mandala centralized exchange to combine that volume to figure out how much tokenomics that you would be gaining as a holder. So it's a really amazing idea, and if they can pull it off, because obviously they had it running for a little bit, but maybe it wasn't working in the way that they wanted to, or they saw some vulnerabilities vulnerabilities in the system. But once they figure out and they tweak all those little things, this is going to be a huge thing for SafeMoon and other tokenomic projects out there. Now, the only question that I have is who is masterminding the technology behind this innovation? Is it Mandala? Are they the ones that are taking on this global tokenomics thing, or is it SafeMoon that's helping the programming to make it? And is this something that SafeMoon could take to other centralized exchanges and say, okay, this is the technology we have, this is how it works, you can implement this? Or is it going to be a different situation everywhere they go? That's what we really need to find out. But if it is like a device that they make or some sort of program that they make that they can install somewhere or they can put onto a computer, I think it's going to be game changing when it comes to that, when it comes to volume, because it'll be super easily achievable to get that volume from everywhere. And wouldn't that be cool, if they can even put it on something like Bitmart and all the other exchanges that are currently holding SafeMoon, just put that technology into those other exchanges that they're on now. Now you're starting to pull it in from multiple sources, and you can just see the tokenomics rolling in because the volume is all combined through everywhere, and everyone is equal. No, you're not any different no matter where you are, and I think that's a great idea behind it all, and I hope it's pulled off because it will bring everybody up.
Go ahead, Atlas.
Moonboy, I actually would like to ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Let's go.
Why was Mandala at the Miami convention when you can't actually go on and access their website as a U.S. citizen as of the moment? Because that's a huge market of potential volume that could play into the system. Why would they be there of all conventions if everyone that's attending there is more than likely going to be people from the United States? What's the value of that?
Very good perspective. Yes. We know SafeMoon was also at that convention. I believe at the time, Papa was representing SafeMoon, if I'm not mistaken with that. And I'm sure whatever information was exchanged, Papa gave to the SafeMoon team, and now they have that information. When we talk about global tokenomics, the United States, North America, that is a massive hub when it comes to crypto investments. Mandela is not available there. So is this global tokenomic release going to be the release of their US-based exchange as well? I have no idea. But it's very interesting when you start putting the pieces together and kind of see how SafeMoon is moving and who they're talking to and who are they meeting up with and where they're going. Even Ryan, I believe Ryan just had a meeting. He went to the UK, and I believe he was doing a couple meetings as well. Whatever that's going to be as well. So they're doing things that we obviously don't know about, but over time is going to lead to something which eventually could be the Mandela Exchange coming to the US. I have no idea, but good perspective, good, putting the pieces together there. You have any thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Me, myself, I personally think that there's a lot of signs pointing to the fact that we could be seeing Mandala launching in the United States. And that the whole Miami convention, it took place a while ago. Back then, SafeMoon was saying like, hey, you guys heard it here. Like, we're going to be doing things with Mandala. And then just a massive amount of time went by. You still had SafeMoon version 1 that was getting listed on new exchanges. So there was ample opportunity where Mandala could have just been like, all right, let's go ahead and get version 1 up, have the tokenomics like how it's working on every other exchange right now. We could fix this later. They could have gone that route. There's conversations that took place. Whatever that relationship is, to me, it feels like it's a stronger relationship than what they've established with other exchanges. And so the SafeMoon team has decided to pivot a little bit differently with Mandala for either one reason or multiple reasons. And one of those reasons could be as they were trying to do preparations to have an access point to the United States. They wanted to have some sort of a crypto that's kind of more in touch with that demographic. And I think SafeMoon is very heavily invested by U.S. investors. I'm not saying it's exclusive, but I'm in the U.S., Generation's in the U.S., Adam's in the U.S., Tim's in the U.S. Like, you're kind of seeing it firsthand, just even watching a live stream like this.
Yeah, very good point. Very good perspective. Now, I do want to segue into another topic, which is the blockchain. So I do want to bring up something that I do have here on the screen for you guys. We are going to bring up real quick Bitrise, aka BitGert. Now, this token released back in August, and they're essentially SafeMoon, but without the wind turbines. The same thing SafeMoon is doing, exchange, wallet, the idea of staking their reflective token. They just dropped their blockchain. So if we look at the charts down here, this was the hype leading into the release. And then we can see what happens when the token released their blockchain over here. So all this was just hype. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Blockchain drop, boom. Volume went up, price went up, literally went up 60% during a point where we're bleeding. My point in bringing this up is that this token dropped in August. We are in February. It just took them a couple months to drop their blockchain. Now, whether they forked it or not, or they were building it beforehand, I don't know. That's not the point. But I do want to go to generation. What is your opinion when it comes to SafeMoon blockchain being delayed? Do you have a reason why? Do you have a perspective why? Because we have other tokens who are dropping their blockchain, who was released after SafeMoon, but is dropping their blockchain before SafeMoon. What is SafeMoon's delay?
So forking a blockchain doesn't take too long. I mean, Dogecoin was a fork of Bitcoin in a period of 2 hours. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to fork a blockchain. That's not the hard part. That's very simple and easy to do. The hard part is what SafeMoon is attempting to do. They want to build a blockchain that fits a very niche use case for what they specifically want to do with their project as far as future utility goes. So they don't want to build a blockchain that restricts them in the future of accomplishing their end goals. And so it's coming up with all the details of what you want to do and how that would work on a blockchain, and getting all those pieces to work in a way that functions well together. And then you can build out the code for that blockchain. So they're probably on testnet already. I mean, code has probably already been written. Several lines of code have probably already been written on testnet, testing different variations of code and how that would work with the chain, and how this element would interact with this element, so on and so forth. And so it's getting all those pieces all to work together and then making that work on one new blockchain that you're taking from scratch. That's going to take a long time to build out. Now, obviously, I myself and several others probably thought the blockchain was coming at the end of the year because that's what we were told. Sounds like for now, we're talking at a minimum of 3 months from now, from John's latest comments, before we're going to see a blockchain be implemented. And I appreciate them being a little bit more transparent with us and giving a little bit of better idea of what's going on with that blockchain. But if you ask me, would I rather they just fork some random blockchain and it doesn't end up serving really any good purpose, or waiting a few extra months to get the right blockchain that's going to do exactly what they want, it's going to work really well? I'd rather wait. I've always been a long-term SafeMoon holder. I've always been, this is a 5-year play for me or longer, instead of just a 6-month play or a 1-year play for me. So if I have to wait a little bit longer to see that happen, I never planned on selling my SafeMoon now anyways. So whether it takes 6 months or it takes 3 months, I'm okay as long as we're getting what we've been told that we're going to get, and they're working on it and making sure that when it does release, it's as good of a blockchain as we're all hoping for, and it accomplishes the end goals that they're wanting to accomplish.
Hey,
Yeah,
Moonboy.
definitely. That is the point. Yeah, go ahead, Atlas.
Sorry, I know Adam's going to be leaving here real quick, but I just wanted to ask you, Adam, хотите халат и полотенце?
You're muted.
Я хочу полотенце, скажи опять.
Хотите халат и полотенце?
Do I want a robe and a towel? Yeah, sure.
What?
I don't know a lot. Я разговариваю по-русски чуть-чуть, so I know very
that's
little
not
Russian.
bad.
But
You pronounce it well.
Thank you.
Who taught you?
My friends, I used to work at a residential spa, and a lot of the massage therapists were Russian. And so over time, you would also have some clients that came in who spoke almost no English at this residential complex. So to try and be a little bit better of service to them, I was like, can you teach me some of the phrases in Russian that I can present to them? And so I knew you spoke a little bit of Russian earlier, but I didn't know how proficient you were. And then it makes people laugh every time if they know Russian and they speak it. And I say that because it's I know very little, but of all the things that I could say, that's the thing that I say.
Yeah, guys, he said, do you want a robe and a towel?
Yeah.
He said it. He just caught me really off guard. But it was great. Yeah, I speak Russian fluently. I've been to fluently. I mean, I'm not the highest level when it comes to technical terms. I can't really explain a blockchain, for example, but I can talk on the street, no problem. I read and I write very slowly, and I don't have a problem with it. I prefer English, but I can have a full conversation in Russia, Ukraine. Been to both places. In terms of that blockchain, by the way, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I have to get out of here. Somebody's going into surgery. I gotta take them tomorrow. I just wanted to show support and come out for the gentleman and for you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers. I haven't heard of a blockchain fork since probably maybe Ethereum was the last fork of a blockchain that I heard of, because once they came out with smart contracts, everybody just makes tokens. The whole point of a blockchain fork was because it was hard to make a blockchain at the time, because the language that everybody used was, I believe, Clarity, which is the Bitcoin language. And then when Solidity came out, Dr. Gavin Wood made it for Ethereum. Everybody started using Ethereum, and it just became a lot easier to make blockchains. So I don't know this I could be not that I heard of. There could be, but I know that most of them don't fork now. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. I just want to say I'm not saying Bitrise or BitGert was a fork. I don't know. I don't think they were, but I'm just kind of drawing a reference in regards to SafeMoon being delayed versus another token who released their blockchain faster than SafeMoon. But yeah, Adam, I know you got to jump out of here. You want to kind of say an outro in Russian?
Я хотел всем сказать спасибо, что вы посмотрели сегодня ночью. И я хотел сказать, чтобы все имели хорошую ночь. But I wanted to say, I just said thank you guys for watching, and
that was
everybody
the most sexist Russian. I don't know what you said, bro, but it turned me on. That was
Super
nice.
sexy Russian,
that was
man.
Sexy, bro. Man.
Good thing I'm not wearing pants.
So I want to actually check out BitGert. I want to understand what it is exactly. Now that they came out with a blockchain, I want to do an analysis.
It is actually. I did a video for them back in the past, and they look great. They're a really good token. I haven't looked at them in a while, but when I was looking at them, they were doing everything right. Their wallet is out. Their wallet has staking on it, so they're a reflection token, but you can also stake their token to earn further rewards. The wallet has a bunch of tokens listed. They're right now working on their exchange. So the roadmap was the wallet, the blockchain, then the exchange, and then they want to bring out pair chains and other things as well. So I think they're legit. I think they're very good. They're coming from the Binance Smart Chain, now having their own chain. Not shilling, but I would say if you're interested, check them out. I haven't looked at them in quite a while, but from what I knew back then, they were working, getting things done.
I gotta definitely check them out. That would be a really, really cool video. Maybe I could gain a subscriber for every SafeMoon unsubscribe that I'm getting. Who says, how do you say leave Ukraine alone in Russian? Россия, пожалуйста, оставьте Украину в покое. Please leave them alone. That's about it, guys. Thank you so much again. Thank you for letting me be on the show.
Man.
Guys, I'm sorry I have to cut this short to everybody watching. Have a great night. All right? Take care. Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
Have a good one, Adam.
You take care, man.
See you later.
Bye.
Best of luck.
Awesome. And then there are four. Now, going over to Tim. So this might be a little controversial, slightly.
Ooh.
I want to talk about Papa. We know Papa was onboarded for the purpose of building a blockchain. And when he left, we were under the assumption that the blockchain he built was completed. But now we're here, and it looks like there's still some coding left. There's still some things that needs to be worked on. Do you think, your opinion, guys, we don't know anything. This is just us speaking in regards to what we think. Do you think they are rewriting a brand new blockchain, not going with what Papa wrote, or are they building upon what he has already done?
Okay, as soon as you said Papa wrote, I was thinking of Papa Roach. It's a band. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Papa Roach, I started laughing in my brain.
Tim, over here.
What's
Pay
up?
attention. Pay attention.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, so getting back to that, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. It's really hard for me to focus. So, yes, I mean, so obviously they're going through some major restructuring at SafeMoon, right? And so there's a couple different ways this could have played out, and no one really knows for sure exactly what went down. When SafeMoon was doing their restructuring and a lot of people were leaving, I believe if Papa would have left with everyone else, that would have been it for SafeMoon. I don't think that the community at the time would have been able to handle everybody leaving except for John, right? This is just my personal opinion on what I thought happened. I think he was working on a blockchain, not saying that he wasn't working on it at all. But I think at that point, when they were removing people and restructuring the company to have new people come in, I think they said, look, can you just stay on, help us move over to a new team? I don't know for sure if I ever read anywhere that SafeMoon came out and said that Papa himself had finished a blockchain. I do know that Papa did, or let's just call him Thomas, that's easier. I know Thomas did come out and say that, hey, I finished my work on the blockchain. What I was done was done. And I think I'm not sure if I don't know if he actually finished it or not. He did talk about it with Adam, which was actually kind of cool. And this would have been a great question for Adam, because Adam did ask him some really cool questions when he was on a space the one time. It was about the structure of the blockchain and how the different layers worked and how the validation worked. So it actually legitimately sounded like he did do something for SafeMoon when it came to the blockchain. We do know that they have been changing up who they've been working with. We know that they're working on a lot more stuff now than they were working on before. Because of that, and they did say at one point, and I know you guys probably remember this, they ran into legacy issues. And I think that might have been one of the things that stopped them in their tracks and said, hey, look, we're running into legacy issues. What we're building here now, we need to just reset. And they needed to look at it from the standpoint where they had to take a big whiteboard, print out everything that they wanted, draw out everything that they wanted, how it was all going to connect and how it was all going to come together. And I think they figured out that what they were building with the blockchain itself wasn't going to be what they needed to actually have everything running on it. And I think that's what all those hints are about lately. If you guys have been watching, they had this chalkboard stuff. This might be something you might be bringing up shortly. But I think that is just the whiteboard of where they're going in the company. Because, if you're building an application or if you're building anything in general, if you're you always want to whiteboard your project out. You want to make sure you know where you're going. You want to make sure you know what interacts with what. I think that is the whiteboard of what they want to do with the company. And when it's all finished, you're going to see this whole idea of how everything is going to come together. And I do that a lot in my videos. I try to make my own little whiteboards, and I think you guys do as well. But I think they saw that what Thomas was building wasn't going to work for their whiteboard, right? So at this point, they just said, scratch it. Let's keep working on the ecosystem. That's the most important part. Let's get the e-commerce. Let's get the connect done. Let's get the wallet done. Let's get the exchange done. Let's get the card done. Jesus, let's get the wind energy turbines done. Let's get the mesh network done. I mean, they are working on a ton of stuff, right? But they want to make sure that what they have, that this blockchain can utilize everything that they're working on. And they probably saw that the things that they're working on is new to this space. It's not stuff that typically is running in this space. And therefore, they're like, okay, this blockchain that was built prior to us having this whole idea, this whole whiteboard out, it's not going to work. We need to just finish everything, get it all going, and then we'll build the blockchain specifically to the needs of the ecosystem that we have. So when it comes to the blockchain itself, I don't think it's that big of a deal that it's not finished right now. I do agree that the price is probably going to change significantly when it is released. Sort of like what you were talking about with that other project that you brought on. What was it? Bit something? Bitgirth?
It was Gogurt. Gogurt.
Bitgirth?
No.
Bitgirth.
Moonboy, you're muted, dude. We can't hear you.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. It's Bitgurt. So they were Bitrise, way better name. They changed the name to Bitgurt. I don't know why. I hate it. But their blockchain came out and we saw the price action. They doubled in price.
Is it Girth or Girt?
Girt.
Like
Girt.
skirt?
Yes.
For every token you get to redeem that
Bitgirth.
token.
Oh, is it Girth? Wait, RJ's saying Girth.
I mean, I would.
There's no H in that, bro.
I would like it better if it was Bitgirth.
Bitgirth.
You know, that would be a better name for it.
I honestly
Dennis
feel
Frisky
Girth. I would
tonight,
buy
man.
into that. I think that would be a way better name.
Yeah, they'll have to change it up. Bitrise, I actually heard of Bitrise before, so I didn't know that was the same company.
Yeah, they changed the name.
So do they have, you said they have a wallet, they have an exchange, they have something else as well, like a card?
They have a wallet. I downloaded a wallet. It's a nice wallet. Very, very nice. They have staking on there. They have tokens you can buy. They're working on their debit card feature, or they might have implemented at the point, but I actually have the wallet downloaded. It's fully functional. It has the same security measures as SafeMoon. It's literally SafeMoon, but without the wind turbine concept. They're doing, for the most part, everything else, but their own ecosystem is being built out. they're going further into the blockchain, like offering parachains, which I believe helps with better transaction speed, depending on what kind of smart contract it launched on the blockchain. But it's essentially SafeMoon without wind turbines. This is exactly what it is.
But Moon Boy, can they do this? Unplug my headphones.
Can they do that?
I can't do that.
You can't do that.
So are they
hilarious.
doing a mesh network too, like a Wi-Fi cell phone? Are they installing themselves in other countries? Are they doing? Do they do tokenomics with their?
That question I do not know. I know they talk quite a bit about Web3 development, and they're going after some type of Web3, building that into the ecosystem somehow. Like I said, I haven't looked at the token in a couple weeks. I know that their blockchain dropped because it was, pretty hype when it comes to this couple people I follow on social media.
They had too
but
much
they are
girth.
trying, yeah. But when it comes to all those details, I don't think they're going after the mesh network.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's the different play. I don't know how long they've been out. I haven't looked into their project. But as you could see, when most companies are working from a token and they go into a blockchain, you'll see the company change dramatically. Like you'll see the price of things change dramatically and the adoption of it change dramatically. I think the blockchain will also bring in big investors, and you see that with a lot of other projects out there, just because it has way more utility at this point, and it could be listed in more locations. So that's why I was wondering if they were a tokenomics or cryptonomics coin, or now they're a coin, right? Because they have their own blockchain.
Yeah, they reflect in BNB, so they're not self-reflective, but they reflect in BNB based off of volume.
So they give you that BNB girth. That's what you're saying.
They're giving you some girth in BNB.
Jesus generation, yes.
RJ wants me to say bit girth, so there you go, RJ.
This is dick heavy podcast, isn't it, man? We have Tim over here talking about Adam, and then generation.
Okay, second. I just want to clear the air on this. Adam called him. He said, "Oh, I might be a dick on this one." You know how someone can call themselves a dick for saying. And so I just thought it would be nice to call him a beautiful looking dick, not as in his dick itself, but him as, that was what the explanation was on it. I don't want people to think.
I still don't understand, Tim. Can you keep explaining?
No, I'm done. That's it. That's all you get. That's all the explanation you get. I can't even clean it up any more than that.
That is going to be snapped and put on Twitter.
Oh, boy.
It's already on Twitter, I guarantee it.
No, please don't.
Oh, man. So lastly, I do want to get Atlas, his opinion over here when it comes to your opinion perspective, guys. Once again, we don't know facts. We're not part of the team, but we can have our educated guesses, and we can kind of read between the lines to kind of have our own opinion. Why is the blockchain delay? We have other tokens dropping their blockchain before SafeMoon, who was released after SafeMoon. Is SafeMoon building again from the ground up, or are they building on top of what Papa did, or are there other things in play that we don't know about, which they most likely are?
Now, do you want my opinion on this, or do you want to know, or do you want to know what my sources are saying?
I want both.
You want, okay.
Double penetration.
Well, for now, maybe another time I'll give you my sources, but for now, I think I'll just stick with my opinion on this. So I think fundamentally what we need to take into consideration is that everything started with SafeMoon version 1. Fundamentally, they had flaws. And the release of SafeMoon version 2 is trying to troubleshoot some of the mechanics moving forward. And so the wind turbine, for example, that whole design itself is something that's going to be very well tied over with SafeMoon version 2. And with what Thomas had built out, I had actually talked with a backend developer and I got their opinion on this. What they had told me, you guys are crazy. I'm trying so bad not to look at you guys right now. But to answer this actually serious, when I talked with an individual privately, what they had told me was that a project like this, it sounds like Thomas had likely built out a test net. And the team had gone on, looked through it, and then, like you said, legacy issues. So whatever it is that he built out, at the end of the day, he's not with the project anymore. Look at the amount of partnerships that SafeMoon's been trying to roll out as a whole. Talking with Brandon Fugel, talking with Scott Paul, going to the conventions, everything that continues to evolve, that direction that SafeMoon's moving in, when you're including real world mechanics, hardware, that kind of stuff, and that's all going to be tied in with the design structure of the blockchain. then realistically, you need to get those things worked out properly first. And then how do you interact with those elements? So fundamentally, the 90% of the work is going to be going into the wind turbines and getting all of that figured out. And then the 10% is saying, have this interact with that. An if then kind of scenario, right? If this happens, then that reacts this way. And this is how they can communicate between one another. How does anyone expect SafeMoon to realistically create a blockchain when you have not fundamentally finished these other key elements that will play an integral role with the blockchain itself? You can only hypothecate. I believe that's the right word. Hypothecate. I hope that's a real word. Or hypothesize on a matter like this if you're going to be doing the blockchain code. So what's really the value of doing that, right? If you have a blockchain developer that can say, well, if we know exactly what these things are going to do and you have that information, just give me that information, then I can include it in here with the code and be able to write it up. But if you don't have that information, there's no point in me writing this line of code, because for these kinds of things, I might have to completely scrap that whole function. I can't even use that with this thing that you're now presenting to me. We have to find a different solution. And then we took time and resources away from those developers that could have been using that on something else. Instead, they're just spinning their wheels. And so I think it's about prioritizing things. And as much as it would be nice to say that the blockchain is basically ready to go and the code that Thomas had set up, everything's hunky-dory and fine, I think the reality is that from inception to now, too many factors have changed in the introduction relationships with SafeMoon that has steered them in a direction where they're able to do much more with the project than what it was first intended by creation.
That is a very good point. And I did hear as well that Thomas was building a test net. And I suppose that was a good segue for them to build their own main net. But hopefully those details will come in regards to where they're at. We know the whole SafeMoon birthday is coming up, and apparently they have some cool information that's going to be dropping then. We don't know. We can speculate that it's more info about the exchange, and hopefully a bit more detail about Project Phoenix and the Gambia and the blockchain as well. Now, I do want to segue into our next topic point, which is the overall feel of the SafeMoon community, and then we're going to get into some more DeFi and broader crypto questions over here. So, generation. We can kind of see the sentiment on Twitter when it comes to how people feel. We've gotten these, owls and crossword puzzles and the whole, change your, SafeMoon color to hue, and, these things that, comes out of the SafeMoon community, the SafeMoon management team, that usually doesn't lead to nothing, right? We now have this, matching of this chalkboard going on, and some people like it, some people hate it. Do you think that SafeMoon should stop with the hints, because it looks like at this point is pissing more people off than is actually helping? What are your thoughts? Do you think all these hints, they're pointless? And what do you think about the overall sentiment of the SafeMoon army?
So I think the appeal of the hints are going to lose appeal if they continue to be just little things like that, right? I think if you bring them forward and saying, hey, this is just a fun thing that we're doing, it's not anything associated with the project, it's just a fun way to engage the community, I don't see anything wrong with that. There's people who like to solve puzzles and stuff like that if it's just for fun. I think where people are getting frustrated is they're seeing these hints on Twitter, they're seeing these hints on Discord and all over the place, and they're trying to solve these puzzles, or people are putting hours into it trying to solve these things, thinking that it's going to give them information more about the actual project of SafeMoon. And when it turns out to be, something that's not necessarily associated with the project, or it's something just for a marketing push, people feel jaded about it, right? They're like, what the heck? Like, I spent all this time and energy trying to figure this out, and it ended up not being a part of what's to come with the project. So I think there's some disclaimers of like, hey, this is just a fun thing that we're doing for fun, then you won't have anyone mad because they knew ahead of time that that's what this was all about, right? And I think that if you want to have something that's like a hype thing like that, then I think that it should be for a specific reason that does have something to do with the project. Like, maybe this is a fun way to say, we're going to launch on this date and on this exchange. So we're going to send a puzzle piece out there. People figure out, oh, it means we're launching on exchange X on this date. That's cool. And then that's an actual piece of relevant information people feel justified in looking for. But I feel like you got to have it one way or the other. You can't do those games for it to really not mean anything. And that's going to make people feel upset. They're going to feel like you're just teasing us, and they feel hurt by that. So I think they've got to choose a lane. They can continue to do that, but they got to make those disclaimers, or they just got to lay off completely until they have relevant information to bring to the table on that. I think it's not necessarily that there's games going on or there's that meaniness to it. It's that people assume that that's going to lead them to more information about the future product releases, and it's not, and that's what gets people upset. Because if the thing that went to the Hue was actually to like the announcement of Mandala, I think everyone would have been happy about it. No one would have cared. They thought that was a really cool way to do it. But because it was just this thing that didn't have anything to do with the project, people felt upset about it.
Yeah, my same sentiment exactly. I actually did a video about the whole idea of what they're doing with the whole crosswords and when they try to mix and match things. And I actually read through the comments, and all the comments were, most of them were negative. You had one or two inside that were pretty positive. But going over to Tim, so talking about the chalkboard puzzle specifically, right? So we're seeing words on there. We're seeing words like innovation. We're seeing words like safety. We're seeing words like human interaction. What do you think is going to be the end result of that? What is it going to lead to? Is it just something to kind of keep the community engaged before they drop something else? Is there nothing going on with SafeMoon so they have to do that, or do you think there's going to be something that's going to be at the end of putting all this together?
Well, so yeah, I mean, getting to the puzzle point, what exactly is it, right? This is definitely going to be something bigger than what the Hue change was, because the Hue change wasn't from SafeMoon official. It was just from a moderator on Discord. So that itself should have told you that it wasn't going to be something big. I know people were hoping that it was going to be something bigger than what it actually was, but it is what it is, and it was just a marketing push to get people more SafeMoony, if you will. I think the puzzles are good for the community because it gives them something to play with when the market's not doing the best or when there's not a lot to talk about. It keeps people engaged and it gets people working together on trying to figure out what it is. What do I think it is? SafeMoon doesn't have a roadmap right now. It would be cool if that was a good way to reveal their upcoming roadmap to show you what they're doing. Also, like what I brought up prior, is that when companies are developing things, and even when I was trying to develop programs in that, because I was learning Python a while back, one of the first things they teach you is to whiteboard your projects. So you want to see where they're going and you want to map them out and have everything mapped out. I believe that it quite possibly could be some sort of whiteboard for where the company is going, just to give you an overall image of what it looks like. Because they didn't really give you like a huge whiteboard of how everything's interconnected. So this would be their way of showing off what they have all coming out. In all honesty, we have all these different things that they're saying, right? So they tell you that they have all this stuff. But I think it's their way of visually showing you how they see it all coming together. And I'm hoping that that's what it is. But it could be just another marketing thing. But I think it's going to be something a little bit bigger than that, just based on the fact that it came from the company themselves. And I understand people are getting frustrated. I guarantee you that if the price was spiking and going through the roof, people would be doing backflip for these friggin' puzzles. They would love them. It's just the fact that we're in a down crypto market right now, and especially that we got whacked with a stupid lawsuit that has nothing to do with anything. It's never going to stick. People are just upset, and they were hoping that the blockchain was further along, right? So when they got the news that the blockchain wasn't further along, when they got the news that this silly lawsuit came out, then they were just like, and then the crypto market went down, so all they started was seeing red, and then they saw the puzzle, and they're just like, stupid puzzles. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't think, if the roles were reversed, if it was all green and the blockchain was released, people would love these friggin' puzzles. So it's just the way that you look on it. But the way that I'm looking at it is it could possibly be a roadmap, like an upcoming roadmap, or it could be like a whiteboard of showing you how everything works together. That's just my opinion. I know other people have different opinions on what it could be, but it's just my idea. Or it could be the instructions on the blockchain on how to actually build it. Who knows?
And I do hope it does segue into one of those points. Either a roadmap would be wonderful. We don't have a roadmap. We know what SafeMoon wants to do, but we don't have, for example, endpoints. And they don't even need to drop months or even quarters. Just have a blanket 2022 roadmap and just drop everything you're going to complete in the calendar year on that. I know when it comes to specifics, the SafeMoon wallet launch was a big failure. I get that they don't want to replicate that, but still have something so that when people who aren't even SafeMoon investors go on the website, they can at the very least see right there on the homepage what SafeMoon is trying to do. Now, going over to Atlas with the very same question, when it comes to the puzzles and this way that they interact with the community, the owls in the past, and now we have this chalkboard thing going on. Your opinion of what the chalkboard could even be? And do you think the community is getting frustrated over these hints leading to nothing?
A lot of people in the community are getting frustrated. You will see individually people that are saying that they're fine with it. They're not worried. It's all circumstantial. When you're looking at it as a whole, I think realistically, the only most obvious way is if we actually conducted a survey. And at the same time, even if you do that, it's not going to count for every single wallet holder. So it's circumstantial, right? Now, for me personally, I am frustrated by the fact that we continue to receive so many cryptic messages with very little actual delivery. And then the instances where there has now been the opportunity for delivery, well, lo and behold, something ends up happening and then there's a delay. And it's not a 1 day delay. It's several days have gone by. And then now we don't even know if it's going to be the end of the month. You know, I'm referencing Mandala, for example. And that's very frustrating. As far as for the actual board itself, I think the most in your face, obvious, simplified version is it looks like it's doing a lot of planetary type things. If you look at some of the stuff, it's almost got like an asteroid belt feel to it. And what has the Safe Moon team talked about that has to do with outer space stuff? Safe Moon Galaxy, right? So fundamentally, I think the most in your face thing could be Safe Moon Galaxy. But I've also talked about it previously that as that trail kind of moves, it looks like as if it could be pointing towards the next thing. And so I've mentioned also like what Tim is saying, it could very well be something in reference to a roadmap. Now, as far as the pieces that we've received so far, I think that one thing that is almost a guarantee is that once we receive all the pieces, it will still be cryptic. It won't be super obvious. You're going to have to try and decipher it even more. So it's a puzzle that's leading to a puzzle that will lead to either news on something that they're working on or hopefully something tangible that we actually have as being truly imminent, not by John's definition. When I say imminent, I'm talking like, hey, now that you know this information, get ready in the next couple days or 1 week at most. It's already ready to go. You're going to be able to participate in it. And then you can carry all that emotion, that hype, right? Because trying to keep hype yourself for so long, it's draining. It's emotionally draining. You get tired of it. And then when the things finally happen, it's similar to the circumstance like the boy who cried wolf, right? Eventually it happens and you're like, yay. And then outside people that maybe hear about it for the first time, they're like, whoa, that's really cool. But then here you are, you're one of the hardcore Safe Moon people and you're like, yeah, I know. And it's like, wait, you're not excited. It kind of makes it counterintuitive of what the intention is, right? So hype is super important. Getting community engagement is super important. I think they could be trying to find other ways. So instead of doing just these puzzles, I would love to see them try and get the community engaged in coming up with creative ways to move Safe Moon forward from our point of view. What kind of marketing things that we've had in mind, what kind of projects people can develop. Like, for example, the music. You know, how many people have even been listening to the music? How many people even know about this? There's on Spotify a group that's been around since Safe Moon version 1. They're doing on Safe Moon version 2 now. You can go in, you listen to the playlist. The guy documents everything through the blockchain and then ends up burning a ton of these tokens. So I think there's too much pressure on relying on the Safe Moon team to do all the work when we've had all this time with hundreds of thousands of wallet holders, and every one of us could be contributing our own ways outside of financially to be able to help move this project forward. And the question really comes down to, what role is that? Is it as simple as getting stickers, putting them up? Is it as simple as talking to 1 or 2 people online or doing your share of posting on Twitter with hashtags each day, right? Some people will do more than others. But if everyone in the community truly believes in this project, then we can do additional efforts on our own while they're doing the actual hard work behind the scenes. And that, I think, is something that's kind of getting lost that we had before. And we need to be able to kind of tap back into that.
Really good perspective. And when it comes to doing your part, I do agree. We're all in this together. We all want to see our projects go to the moon. Us as content creators, we're talking about Safe Moon because we love it, but us naturally talking about it is helping it out when it comes to at least educating people on what it's trying to do. So you guys killed it when it comes to that question. I do want to hop over to some super chats we have. So Taste Crypto. Right now you can stake. Right now you can stake farm Safe Moon on Taste Deck. So I know there's a couple platforms you can actually take your Safe Moon and stake it for more Safe Moon. Me personally, I don't recommend any of that. I don't know Taste Decks. I'm not going to judge them. I don't know anything about them. But if it's not partnered with Safe Moon, you're giving your Safe Moon tokens to another exchange or another protocol, and you're giving them permission to do what they want because it's going to come out of your wallet, it's going to go into their staking pool, and who knows what can happen. We just saw what happened with EarnHub. You had your EarnHub tokens in staking pools. EarnHub got hacked. The people who had their tokens staked lost their EarnHub tokens. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not judging Taste Decks, but I'm just going to say if you're going to do that, yes, you might be able to earn more Safe Moon, but be very cautious when you want to put your Safe Moon in the hands of someone else. So I just want to give that. There's another one as well that I do want to get to that popped up. Just got to scroll a little bit. Here we go. Coming from Brandon. So Vault Enu Stage 4 just released, looking fire. Dev team delivering. Do your own research. So Vault Enu. Tim, when you hear Vault Enu, what comes to your mind?
When I think of Volt,
Vault
I think
Enu,
of the.
I guess.
I mean, Volt Inu. Jesus, I don't know what it is with these people who want to put Inu on everything, or baby this, or little that, or you know what I'm talking about. This is the most ridiculous naming. Why don't they just? I mean, when I saw Volt with the little lightning volts, I was thinking of the Chevy Volt. You know what I'm talking about? That failed car that GM decided to come out with. I mean, I hope anyone, if you have a Chevy Volt and you love it, I absolutely apologize. I do like electric cars, just not Chevy electric cars. But maybe they will change my mind. But yeah, I don't. Is it that the whole name? Volt Enu Stage 4?
No,
that...
so I don't know the token. I think the token most likely name is Vault Enu, and then they're saying that their Stage 4 of, I guess, their roadmap is release. And I just wanted your thoughts on when you hear a name like Vault Enu.
Well, the Inu, is that referring to like everything Inu, like the Shibu Inu? I can't even say the damn word right now. I'm stumbling over it. But like, what else are they gonna come out with, right? Like Toe Inu and like Eye Inu and like butt flaps. You know, I mean, it's like this is ridiculous. They're just gonna put Inu after everything, and I just projects like that just don't seem legit right from the get-go, right? But there are some projects who decided that they were going to take meme coin names and they're really trying to push themselves as to being a legitimate project. And I think that's one of the things you have to think about. Like if you're getting into creating a token or doing a cryptocurrency, you should really think about the name and how it's going to reflect on the brand that you're trying to make. Like there's Shib, there's Baby Shib, there's Doge, there's Baby Doge, there's Little Baby Uno Doge. Like there's so many different coins out there. I'm sure that you guys could probably look up some of these. There's so many Safe Moon names too. There's Baby Safe Moon. There's a friggin' token called Baby Safe Moon, and it has like a baby with like a pacifier that has a Safe Moon in its mouth. It's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Like what are they else gonna cut? Like, but that's one of the crazy parts about DeFi is like anybody could make a token. I'm not saying that this is a scam project. I'm not saying anything negative about this. I'm just saying based on the name itself, by putting that Inu on it or Inu, I think that makes it a little less feeling that it's a secure project to invest in. I think people need to look at the name and reevaluate itself. I think they're trying to capitalize on the Shibu Inu or whatever the hell they call it now. I can't even pronounce it right, but I think they're trying to just capitalize on that name, just like those other companies that came out with Baby Safe Moon were trying to capitalize off Safe Moon. And you have all these, you have Baby Doge is trying to capitalize off Doge. And I know a lot of people like Baby Doge because it's a reflectionary token and it's supposed to help out dogs or something, I guess. But see, I don't trust it when it comes to that point because I feel like the advertising behind it is not going to pay off in the end. But it doesn't mean it isn't a good project. Just always look into the dev team, see if they're doxed. That's one of the main things that I do. It's not that you shouldn't invest in a undoxed project, but just know that if the people aren't doxed, there's probably a reason and it's probably super risky. So, just know when you're going into a project like that, it's like a 50-50 shot. It could be legit. It could be you could lose everything in a second. So just know that the people that are behind the project, just look into them, and that'll tell you if they're a more legitimate company. If they're willing to put their face on their line and their reputation on the line for a project, then I think that speaks volumes. If they're not, I think that you have every reason to be weary when someone says, "I made this, but I don't want you to know who I am," because then they could just run away with it. So that's just my opinion. I know everyone has their own opinions on different projects. But what do you think? What do you think of Inu, Volt Inu?
Yeah, you're very same opinion as well. It's purely marketing. The name Inu catches people because they see the hype and rise of Shiba. There's a lot of these other Inu tokens that actually cracked into the top 200. So, we have about 3 of these tokens that have Inu now that's in the top 250 of all cryptocurrencies, just based off of the hype of Shiba Inu. So I can understand the marketing perspective. Now, is that them just trying to get up there, and once they're there, they change the name? I don't know, but I don't think these tokens will be taken seriously by big money investors. So just my opinion as well. But hey, like you said, we don't know about Inu, so for sure, no hate. We're just seeing a name and talking about it. Going over to the Great Goosh. What's up, my boy? Good evening. Just stopping by to say hello. Hello to you. Shout out to Great Goosh, always supporting every single one of our streams. So very good to see you. And another one from the Great Goosh. Are RJ and Joe playing Pokemon? Well, if they are, they're playing with each other. So, let's hope they're having a good time with what they're doing over there. So, yes. Now, we are at the hour and 36 mark. We're going to
They're playing with each other? Is that?
They are doing some stuff together, man. Either it's fun or whatever. I know they're having a good time. I know that. So,
I wanted to give you some of these names I just looked up. There's a SafeMoon Inu, by the way. I don't know if you guys want to invest all your money into that. Just
there's a SafeMoon Inu. Oh.
Yeah, there's a SafeMoon Nomics. There's a SafeMoon Cash. There's a Baby SafeMoon. There's a SafeMoon Zilla. There's a Meta SafeMoon. There's a SafeMoon AVAX.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. There's so many tokens out there.
Yeah, that might be a token too, like SafeMoon Jesus. There could be,
Oh, SafeMoon Jesus. Jesus, SafeMoon. That would be a better one, right?
Right.
Yeah, just off of the just typing in SafeMoon over here on CoinGecko, you can see all the tokens that Tim was just listing off. But by the way, please, we're not advertising these tokens, but just kind of show a correlation of what it looks like when tokens are trying to ride the hype of other popular tokens just on the basis of their name. So there's a bunch of them out there. Please be very cautious when you're on the crypto market buying tokens. So I do want to leave the last moment here for the podcast to kind of get a little personal with you guys. Now, we're going to segue from SafeMoon and go broader crypto. And I want to ask each of you about what are you most excited when it comes to a passive income play. If you want to go into real estate or business, whatever you want, but when it comes to your ideas and what you're looking at and what you're trying to build for 2022, that could be the catalyst to give you the passive income you're looking for. What token, what project, what investment, what are you looking at? So going over generation first.
That is a good question. I'm really big on nodes right now. I really like node projects, and there's quite a few of them out there. So obviously, good to your own research on which ones you want to participate in. So I'm really big on any type of node project that pays out those via the nodes. But also, I'm big on Forex Shark projects. So his entire ecosystem is awesome. I love his entire ecosystem. I love what he's building, and I love how he's continuing to innovate and add on to that ecosystem. So I'm excited to see that ecosystem continue to expand and to continue to participate within the ecosystem that he's building. Then, of course, like I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of nodes right now. So kind of all over the place, but those are my 2 biggest things right now.
Pick a node. Name a
I was
node
just
right
about to
now.
say, give me your favorite node project and give me your favorite Forex Shark project.
Ooh, favorite node project right now is probably Strong, just because it's been around the longest. But other than the cop out of saying Strong, because it's one of the biggest, I would say Project X after them. And then other than those 2, when it comes to a Forex project, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I really like Drip, but I really like the Drip Garden specifically. So I would say the Drip Garden.
Beautiful, beautiful. Very, very good insight. So, Tim, you as well. When it comes to passive income, we know that, the dream of everyone, right? Make money while you're sleeping, make money while you're on the toilet, make money while you're in the car. This is what we want, okay? When you're on the market, either in crypto, real estate, business, whatever, what do you think is going to be the thing to give you the passive income you're looking for? Either a name of a project or an industry. What are your thoughts?
So when I was looking into this, because obviously I think most people want to make income passively. They want to put their money somewhere so they can gain revenue off it. And I think that's one of the cool appeals of SafeMoon is that through volume and through transactions, you will gain passive income that way. Other projects that I really liked, I do like staking. Because staking gives you a higher APR than you would normally get than if you were holding money in a savings account. But I am super addicted to nodes. Nodes are crazy awesome. They use this. When you get a node, you feel like you own something, and you feel like it's generating income from you. Now the difference between staking and a tokenomics project is that when you stake into something, you lose your initial investment. So it's a bigger risk at that point. So you want to make sure that the node projects that you're investing in have a better vetting process. So you know who's really working on it. You know the people behind it, because at that point, they could really pull it on you at any given time. So you really want to know the project that you're in. But it's super fun. It's super fun finding these new projects, trying to get into them, trying to build up the amount of nodes that you can get. And then they have different types of nodes where you can actually compound the interest that you're making on these nodes. So it gets kind of crazy. It gets kind of fun. I do like them. They're not the safest way to gain passive revenue. Not all node projects are legit, because this is something new in the DeFi space, just like all these other projects that are out there. So you have to be really cautious when you're investing in these. But if you like to take risks and you like to gamble and you like to play high gamble things, and just take a risk, throw in some money and see what you can get back. And that's what I've been doing right now. I just been taking some money, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna burn this, see what happens with it, and hopefully it comes back to me in the end. If not, then oh well.
That's hilarious. Give me your, maybe favorite project you're looking at when it comes to the node space.
Me right now, personally,
Yeah.
I really like Polar nodes, because they give you insane interest rates, but there is absolutely no way that is sustainable. I don't know how. Right now it's doing great things when it comes back to, like, you can literally gain, like, I think there's a tier that you can get like 15% return every day on your investment. Yeah, it's one of it's insane.
Not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Then they released another tier where it's like, obviously they only gave you a certain amount. So if you got in early, then you would get to, but it was a big investment, right? And once you invest into a node-based project, all your money's gone. So you're hoping that the project doesn't disappear before you can get your return on investment back, right? So you at least want to get your money back. And once you get your money back, then you're playing on house money at that point. So if the project folds, then you don't really have to worry about it. So that's been my play on all these projects, is get your money in there and then try to get it back as fast as you can, and then just recompound it until you feel safe enough to start pulling your money out until you reach the goals that you want. But Polar nodes are insane right now. I'm not telling anyone to get invested in that. It's super risky. But it's super high returns. They have a 15% tier, they have a 10% tier, they have a 5% tier, and then they have a 1.5% tier, and then a 0.5% tier. Obviously, the more money that you invest in the project, the higher tier you can get. There are limits to where you are in it, but I find it very fascinating, because if you legitimately get a project that pays 15% and it doesn't fold after like 30 days, you're in good shape. If you're getting 15% every single day, think about those returns. That's just silly. Now, they do have crazy taxing systems, and that's how they maintain it, right? And that's something you really have to look into. So you might be getting 15% a day in your interest, but if you look at the fine details, you're paying a 40% tax on your when you're pulling it out. So you have to look on those small little things that they hide. Obviously, it's not the biggest thing. It's always in the smaller fine print. It's like, 40% when you take it out, and everything else is bigger. Like, oh, you'll get 15% return, and then you're looking down here like, okay, how's that? Oh God, okay. So then you're not really getting 15%. It's more like 7.5 if you're losing, or more than 7.5, maybe like 10%, but whatever.
Yeah, when I think I hop off this, I'm gonna look at Polar Nose and probably drop something on there. Tim, you
I
just
am
told me,
not
man.
saying I'm
If
not
you told
saying
me, bro,
invest in that
I get
at
my money
all.
back in 7 days. My God. So it
I
just
mean,
has to last for 7 days, and my money's there. I
well,
got
I
everything
think the
back.
highest tier, it's called the Everest tier. I already think
Yeah.
it's sold out, but they have
Uh,
another tier and they keep adding more spaces to it because it's sold out within like 1 minute. Because when someone found out they can get 15% a day, like that's ridiculous. Let's be
that's that's
serious. That's
that's
insane.
1% is already too much.
Right.
15%, yeah,
That's
that's ridiculous.
not
Um,
sustainable.
yeah, I do want to. I want to go to super chats, and then we're gonna go over to Atlas with the very same question. So the Great Goosh, my wife has nice nose. I'm sure she does. And yeah, who doesn't like their wife with some nice nose, right? Moving on, the Great
Probably why you
Goosh.
married her.
Do you think Atlas has ever seen nodes? Well, I'll tell you, Atlas is a big holder of quite a few nodes. He is the node man. Although we have our own nodes that we stick to, Atlas is very diverse in his nodes. He has nodes everywhere. So
Man, nodes. I got nodes in every freaking area code, dude. Like,
everywhere, man. So hopping over to Atlas with the very same question, bro. We're talking about passive income. We're talking about DeFi. We're talking about nodes. We are trying to make money while we're eating food, stuck in traffic. What are you looking at when it comes to specific projects, specific markets, and what are you most excited for that's going to give you that passive income?
so I'm highly attracted to node projects right now, as well as with what these guys are saying. Polar nodes, I own that. In fact, I'm becoming very diverse. So I'm being quite literal when I say that I do own a portfolio of different node projects. And I'm pushing hard this year, guys. I've talked about this privately with my friends, but I have very, very high standard of what my goal is by the end of this year that I make on a monthly basis. And one of the values that comes into play is going back to hype. And as we move in the industry space, think back just for a second, the euphoria and the hype and the FOMO that was coming in with the early days of NFTs. And then as that got more widely adopted, right? I am seeing internally as I'm talking with other content creators. I'm looking to see what other content creators are covering. I'm seeing what's kind of trending over on Twitter, what's getting higher levels of engagement. And a lot of this comes back to these node projects. And some of them are designing mechanisms in which they can try and help combat against when you have sort of this big pull down in the market space. So not specifically about nodes, but it has a similar base model with Drip Network, which is the sword and shield mechanic, right? If you look at that from a percentage level, you compare it to some of the bigger name projects some of you guys are very familiar with. I'm not going to name drop right now, but if you looked at it by its metric standard, it actually had less of a loss over the course last month than these other projects. And a lot of that is based on its actual design. And in addition to that, I'm also earning consistently certain numbers of these tokens. So what I'm doing is by coming into a play where I have multiple forms of consistent revenue being generated in my portfolio, that creates an ample opportunity in case one project fails, I still have something that's coming in from another one. Profits are always better than wages. They are always better than wages, right? Never have just one form of linear income. If you're only invested into one crypto project, then you're hindering all of your growth on that project, right? And look, just for example, with SafeMoon, we've been having issues with price action now for 10 months or so, correct? It's been roughly 10 months. So think of anyone, and some of you guys might be in the live stream right now. If you're only invested in SafeMoon, it's got to be frustrating to some degree because almost a guarantee anyone that got in is down at the moment. But that's not to say that it's not going to go back up. My point is that by diversifying with which is what I have done. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling on my words here. I'm in a position right now by having gotten involved with these node projects, even with everything that's been pulled down right now, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I've seen growth in these node projects. It's not just about getting in and you're getting this. The whole point of the designs of these nodes is they create a structured system where you can start to expand a little bit more your node count. So you're actually earning a little bit more in rewards, But then every time you make a node, you're relinquishing those tokens. You can't actually sell them on the market. So I'm at a point right now, with us being as low as we are, I'm on track already making 10 grand plus a month. Think about that. If you watch my videos and stuff, you guys should see I'm not like super dreading. And I'm very big on supporting SafeMoon. I'm not going to say how much money I have in it, but I have put quite a bit into this project, right? Can you guys still hear me, by the way? Is everyone else just muted? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear
So,
you.
so, just to kind of finish off with that, I think if anybody is watching the live stream, you owe it to yourself to go and find out more information about what these node projects are doing. The old model with nodes were that you had to contribute your computer, you had to have connection to the internet, you had to be stable for a certain amount of time. And if you failed in those things, then you lose your rewards. The new evolution, the trend that is happening right now, and why everyone is FOMOing into it is because they have simplified the process. So you don't actually have to contribute. They house these nodes elsewhere. They maintain it in a management system differently. And for many of them, there's no maintenance fees. There's no risk of losing your nodes. And they're continuously evolving the system. And you'll notice in each of these nodes, this one has this mechanic that's a little bit unique. That one is doing this just slightly different. You're seeing it evolve. And I am financially in a position right now where I am night and day. It's not even a question as compared to 2 months ago, almost 3 months now, because I basically came in on this in the beginning of January. You owe it to yourself to go and research what is going on in the node space if you are considering doing any kind of diversification.
Very important points, and I actually want to highlight this comment that actually gave you some credit as well. So Marcus, if I didn't have Drip and Animal Farm and was only in SafeMoon, I'd be driving myself up a wall. Good points, Atlas. And I do want to say that none of us here are against SafeMoon or anything of the sort. We want to add to our position, so when SafeMoon is going down, it's not something we essentially just care about, because our money isn't in just one place. We're diverse. While SafeMoon is over here working on the ecosystem, blockchain exchange, Project Gambia, all those things, we still have our bags over here that are making us money on a daily basis, weekly basis. I know we can cash out something every month to help pay bills, help pay our rent, help pay our mortgage. And that's the point here. When you diversify, you are less emotional about one specific project, because while this is doing its thing, you have money over here that's making you money right now, which is going to help with either, right now, bear market. Guys here are making money during a, what looks to be a potential bear market. We're going to go back up eventually, but right now we're going down, and there seems to be no end to the bleeding. So I did want to highlight that as well. So we have about 8 minutes left. I think this actually, oh, you want to add on to that? Go ahead.
I just realized I didn't actually mention any specific project when I kind of went on that. Can I mention one?
Go ahead.
So guys, I'm not a financial advisor, not financial advice. Go do your own research. There's a lot of node projects that I like. One that's been working very favorably right now for me out of all of them is called Magia, Magia.
Yeah, I'm also an investor in Magia. I got in very low. I wish I bought more nodes. I have 10. But it was, under $3 per token. And now I think it's $5 or $6, which is still pretty low. But something that, I wish I would have bought a little bit more of. But all very good projects, all very good points. All you guys definitely added quite a bit more interesting stuff that people might actually want to go and do the research on and actually might invest. Not financial advice, guys. We're just giving our opinion on what we think and what we personally have investments into. If you choose to invest based off of what you see from your research, that is on you, and we hope you succeed and make money, and it obviously lives on for the coming months and the coming years. So closing off, I'm going to go to Generation, your final statements and your outro.
I just want to say thank you for everyone for participating in today's show. We appreciate every single one of you listeners, not only that contribute here on the Roundtable Live, but also the people who watch the replay. So if that's you watching the replay right now, we genuinely appreciate you just as much as we appreciate everyone who participates live in these. And for all of you who support our individual channels specifically, whether you're subscribed to all of our channels or you're subscribed specifically to just one of us, we all greatly appreciate your guys' support in listening to us and giving us a platform that we can share our passions and our information, and that we spend all day researching. So we appreciate every single one of you guys. As has always been the case, we all preach diversification. So I know that some people get jaded when we switch away from one specific project and talk about another one. But at the end of the day, we're all here for one purpose, and it's to elevate our lives, right? It's to make us better, to hit our personal goals. And it's my opinion that diversification is the best way to get there. So that's what I'm going to talk about. That's why my channel is always about other cryptos and not just one particular crypto. So I appreciate all of you guys. I know people were asking me about doing videos about nodes, doing videos about the drip garden. All of that is coming in due time. So stick around to my channel and you will get more information about several node projects, as well as, of course, more about the animal farm and the drip garden. So thanks for watching, guys.
Awesome. Wonderful. I appreciate your generation. Going on to Tim, your outro and any final thoughts?
First, I want to say these people in the comments are great. I love all you guys that are commenting. You guys are nuts. They went on Twitter and they made a new logo for my channel, and it says Dick Moon Tim. So now people are thinking that I'm some sort of like I'm getting.
Oh, I'm just seeing it. That is horrible.
Yeah,
that is horrible. Jesus.
You know what? That might be my next logo on my next show. I don't know. Yeah, I guess a lot of people on Twitter don't know it's a joke. So if you're tuning in for a replay, it was a joke. You probably already understand why now they did that. But yeah, you guys in the comments are ridiculous. I love you for showing up. Yeah, you guys are a wealth of knowledge. I love hanging out with you guys. You're my friends. I think we have a good time. You guys do a ton of research on stuff. I respect all of you guys, and I want to thank you for having me on this show. It's a lot of fun. I think we always have good points when we bring it up. I want to say everyone in the SafeMoon community, stay positive. You know, there's a lot of FUD that's being thrown out there, but it's just people that are just upset because they can't see the bigger picture. You know, and in every project, even if it's not SafeMoon, if you're in any other crypto, don't worry, the market's just down right now. You know, it's one of those moments where the second you get out is the second it goes up. You know, you're just holding and you're holding, you're like, all right, I'm going to get out. Because I've done that, and I've done that on a bunch of projects where it started going down and I got out and that was it. I lost out on a ton of returns because I decided to pull out at the last second. But I'm thankful for everyone, and yeah, thank you for having me on the show, and that's it.
Awesome, Tim. We appreciate you coming on and being part of this roundtable episode number 12. Crypto Atlas, your final thoughts on your outro. What's up?
Everyone that's watching right now, we are at a low point in this industry space. If you're taking the mindset where you're saying, I don't want to look at the stuff, I'm going to go live the rest of my life, mentally, that's healthy for you. But remember that you want to buy low and sell high. This is the time where you ask questions. You look around, you find out what's going on, you create an opportunity where everything is basically on discount. If you really, really believe in SafeMoon, well, there you go. The price is much lower. Do you really think the project is going to fall flat on its face? Because if you think that it will, then why are you still here, right? There are other plays that are out there. Me personally, I have not sold any of my SafeMoon. Nothing. Because I really do honestly believe in the project. Any day, something could come out, boom. Imagine it 2-3 times from here, right? You have an opportunity where projects are so low that you can get a large acquisition of them for very little capital. So you owe it to yourself and your future self, more importantly, because your future self is going to be the one that's going to be looking back at you and today, kicking you, saying, why didn't you go do this? Right? We always have that. Why didn't we make that decision? Don't worry about that right now. Right now, you need to be looking out and seeing where the opportunity actually is. Where are we going to be going to next? Could it go down lower? Yes, it could. But what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't, right? So educate yourself. Find time to work on your health. Try not to stress on these things too much. At the end of the day, it's just money. I know it helps, but it's just money. Remember all the precious things that we have in our lives, our family, our friends, our pets. Be grateful for all the little things. And I know it's so easy to say that, but don't forget about that. Really take some time, especially in a moment like this. And I think that'll help change your mindset in a lot of different ways and will help open up your eyes a lot. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this roundtable this week, especially with everything that's been so chaotic. Thank you, Moonboy, for having me on as a guest as well. And I'm excited for the next week's roundtable as well.
Yeah, you guys crushed it. Amazing outros and amazing final statements as well. And I'm going to echo a lot of what they said, but I don't want to take up too much time. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I appreciate everyone for being on board when it comes to us being content creators. Even other members who are not here, Safe and Joe, Adam was here. He left a little earlier. RJ as well. You know, we're all out here. We're all friends. We all talk off camera, and we enjoy what we enjoy, which is investing, Safe Moon, node projects, passive income plays, and you know, we're all trying to do the same thing here. You know, we want to change our lives. We want to change our family lives, and we want to impact our future in the best way. And we hope everyone else is as successful as we would like to be as well when it comes to that journey. So we wish everyone luck, wish everyone happiness. We love you all. We'll see you next week, and be looking out for the next roundtable episode. Should be announced shortly when it comes to every channel that's going to be on. But thank you all for the support, and we will see you next time.